there with everyone that's going to join. So I'll hand back over to you, Jason, and we'll get started.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar with Lexel, we were founded over 7 years ago with the goal to provide Magento merchants with a trusted partner to support their e-commerce needs. We're one of the largest and biggest Magento agencies in the UK. We support all tiers of businesses from startup to enterprise level customers, and we've created over 100 sites and we support over 50. So from humble beginnings in Brighton, Lexel's grown year on year with over 20 employees, and we've got 2 offices, one in Brighton and one in London.
And for today's agenda, we'll begin by showing you some of our favourite extensions and tools that you can use to boost the performance of your site. Jason will then take you through some interesting SEO tactics, and finally we'll hear from Developers Corner, where this week we have some top tips from developer Craig, who some of you already know. So just to start then, what are Magento extensions? So for those of you who are not aware, one of the key reasons Magento is the most widely used e-commerce platform in the world is because of the vast ecosystem of developers and third-party extensions you can utilize for your website to boost functionality and performance. We're going to look at some of our favorite extensions and tools that can be applied to almost any Magento 1.x store. So one-step checkout is the single most effective change you can make to reduce shopping cart abandonment, and is available in community and enterprise editions. A recent study by Listrak, Cart Abandonment Index, showed that in 2016 the checkout is the most complicated part of placing an order online, driving 7 out of 10 online shoppers to abandon cart. The Magento default checkout, something we at Lexel have coined the 6-step accordion checkout, is cumbersome and time-consuming for potential customers, and often leads to missed sales and dissatisfied users. One-step checkout greatly simplifies this process by dramatically improving the user experience. Not only will it increase your immediate sales, but also, in the longer term, return visits. On the screen now, you can see an example of the default Magento checkout. So let's have a look at how that compares with the default one-step checkout. So this is an example of one-step checkout. All of the information is displayed to the user in a clear, logical format, simplifying the checkout process and reducing the average time spent on checkout from 2 minutes to under 30 seconds. Pro Lighting is a company based in Brighton, and they experienced a 48% increase in conversion and 28% rise in repeat site visits post-implementation of one-step checkout. As well as installing a more streamlined checkout, you can also look to introduce additional functionality on the checkout page, things like automatic postcode finders and multiple payment options to further increase the user experience. The aim here is to make the checkout page and process as simple as possible for the user, while providing the best information required to make a purchase. It's also worth mentioning that we recommend removing the top-level navigation on the checkout page to reduce the risk of users navigating away from the checkout. Most users nowadays will associate clicking your brand logo to link back to the home page, and we've seen significant increases in conversion by removing the menu on the checkout page. If you look at some of the highest revenue online merchants, you will start to notice that very rarely will they display navigation menus upon checkout pages. Once a user is on the checkout page, the sole aim should be to get a transaction. So another really useful extension from Magento, again available on Connect, is the ATOC full page cache module. It's also available on Enterprise. So why is full page cache important? Studies show that bounce rate and conversion rates are tightly linked to the store's speed and performance. A recent study showed that Amazon increased revenue by 1% for every 100 milliseconds of improvement in page load time. It's a well-known problem that Magento architecture doesn't lend itself to site speed. The good news is you no longer have to test your visitors' patience. Now you can speed up your Magento store, thus increasing your conversion rate and lowering your bounce rate with full page cache. The extension fully caches pages without initializing Magento, providing your visitors with a quick copy of the site that takes significantly less time to load. It also deflates JavaScript on your site, which contributes to faster page rendering, and as a result you get lower server load, which means your server can handle more visitors simultaneously and site speed and load time is increased. So there are 2 really good extensions that we recommend you install, and these gzip, for example, it's not actually an extension but a modification that can be applied to your Magento store. Gzip compression is bundling zipping pages on a web server before the page is sent to the visitor. and this saves bandwidth and therefore increases the loading speed and page significantly. The visitor's web browser then automatically unzips the pages. Compressing unzipping only takes a fraction of a second, and gzip compression saves 50 to 80% bandwidth, so you'll get significantly increased website load times. As well as that, we suggest Keep Alive, another modification. There's no real downside to enabling HTTP Keep Alive when it comes to improving your website speed. Using a Keep Alive connection will almost always speed up your website. Enabling Keep Alive makes it possible to use just one TCP/IP connection to retrieve multiple web files. These are the files that your web pages load at once instead of having to create a connection for every single file. This speeds up the process of retrieving your web files, since using one persistent TCP/IP connection instead of using multiple connections will result again in faster page load times. Site speed is a heavily weighted aspect of SEO and can make a significant difference in your page rankings. So I'll just hand back to Jason to take you through some SEO tactics.
Okay, thanks, Finn. So these are SEO tactics that I've learned through my 7 years of running Excel. Some of them are really basic, but they can make a massive difference to your search engine optimization. So it's really important that you take note and take some of these away, because it should make a really big difference to your store. So the first one is heading tags, and if any of you've worked with us before, then you know that I've mentioned this before. The first point is that all stores, regardless of how big or small, should be using one main heading tag. When I say heading tag, I'm talking about a H1 tag. These tags are misused and underused by a number of online stores on the internet, but we're going to actually show you and tell you how to use them properly. So by default, Magento stores have a number of H1s, H2s and H3s that are not even related to the content. For example, by default, Magento themes will have shopping basket as a H4 tag. Heading tags are extremely important, as it's telling Google this is what the page is about. Without them, Google has to effectively guess what the page content is about. So I'll give you an example. A heading tag, i.e. a H1 for a product page, might be green t-shirt. This tells Google this page is about a green t-shirt, without Google having to try and guess by using all of the algorithms it uses. By utilizing heading tags properly, you're telling Google in no uncertain terms, this is what the page is about and this is how it should be indexed. So I guess another point that is useful, a number of people say that this is relevant for SEO, but I still think it is quite relevant. I don't think it's as relevant as it was before, but to add to your SEO checklist, make sure the meta keywords, title, description match the heading tag. And that's a big one, because you're telling Google, look, all of this information is relatable. So on to another really important point that Finn touched upon. As you can see from the picture here, you can see the page load time and the ranking difference. So you can see page 1 has got 558 milliseconds and page rank 6 has got 1000. So there's a big correlation there between the page load time and your rank. So your website has to be really fast and responsive for Google to index it. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. Your e-commerce store must be super quick. If you're not super quick, you're going to be losing out on rankings, sales, and customers. There's a very quick way you can do that, and the first one is by installing full page cache, as Finn mentioned. Full page cache will basically get a static page and serve that up via the website. So instead of Magento going to the products database, going to the customers database, and all of these different tables, it's actually just putting all of the information in one place. So this will have a huge impact on load times. For example, most of our stores, we've got a standard installation, load around 3 seconds. With full page cache, it loads about 1 second time. So there's a big difference there. If you've got a Magento Enterprise store or a Magento 2 Enterprise store, this is included as standard, and you won't have to actually install it. So moving on to something else that's really important for SEO is rich snippets. Some of you guys may have seen this around. It's the stars when you're searching. So rich snippets are a way of helping Google better understand its context for display in search. The most common way is that it's used is actually for product reviews. So the benefits of using rich snippets include eye-catching results. When you see the stars next to a listing in Google, you can be certain this is a rich snippet listing. Increase in ranking. Although this is debated a lot amongst the SEO community, it's clear to us that rich snippets actually has a boost in ranking as well. And the last one is increased click-through. When you see the stars in the search result, it makes the listing stand out and it makes it look a lot more appealing. So this means that effectively you've got increased click-through, and the companies that we've implemented rich snippets for have seen an increase by 20 to 30%. So it's a big must for SEO. So how do we implement rich snippets? So here's an example of rich snippets, as you can see, and if you're using a third-party provider such as Trustpilot, you'll get an actual widget that you'll be able to implement, and that actually has rich snippets as standard. As Trustpilot partners and Magento experts, we've noticed around a 42% increase in conversions due to product reviews. So reviews coupled with rich snippets works extremely well, not just from a search engine perspective, but from actually a conversions perspective as well. If you're using the Magento standard product reviews, there's an extension you can call. You can actually install. It's called Amnesty, Google Rich Snippets. And that plugin costs around $79, but it's well worth installing, and it works, really, really well.
So let's take a look at this week's top 3 tips to improve conversion. Each week we'll have a different top 3 for you. So this week the first one is live chat. So one of the troubles with online shopping is that many customers are disconnected from someone who can answer their questions in real time with precision. Rather than watching potential customers click away from e-commerce sites, many businesses have been adding live chat support. As it turns out, live chat actually has the ability to provide the convenient answers that customers want, whilst also adding significant benefits to the staff and the bottom line of your company. In fact, 44% of online consumers say that having questions answered by a live person while in the middle of an online purchase is one of the most important features a website can offer. An online chat system provides customers immediate access to help. Wait times are often much less than a call centre, and customers can easily multitask while waiting. Additionally, the pain of having to dial an 0800 number and navigate through a maze of numeric options is non-existent. An ATG Global Consumer Trend Study found that 90% of customers consider live chat helpful, and an eMarketer.com survey found that 63% were more likely to return to a website that offers live chat support. The report goes on to say 62% reported being more likely to purchase from the site again, and a further 38% of respondents said they had made the purchase solely due to the chat session itself.
So A/B testing, this is something I bang on about to all of our customers because I think it's a brilliant tool. Lexel.co.uk has had a massive benefit from A/B testing. We increased our conversions by about 40% from introducing techniques, so I think it's a really, really important thing to do. Effectively, A/B testing is a way to improve your conversion rate. We've been testing on several of our client websites, and it's amazing how much it can improve the conversion rate. One of our customers had a sales increase of over 30% by using A/B testing, and it's so easy to set up as well. So effectively, A/B testing is giving customers 2 different pages. Customer A will get page A and customer B will get page B. You can then monitor the results between the 2 different pages, pick the one that's converting best, and then redo the A/B test again. The idea is that you have an extremely optimized page that's converting really, really well. We would suggest that you run an A/B campaign for around 3 to 4 weeks, because this gives you enough time to actually find out tangible results. A good company to use is Optimizely, as you'll see in the image that's on the screen, and you can just go to their website. They offer a free trial, and it's optimizely.com, and it's well worth checking out.
And an abandoned cart module is the final tip. So abandoned cart modules are a great way to ensure that your store customers details before they actually leave the website. So you'll see this in quite a few forms on different e-commerce sites, but the most common is a pop-up. And this pop-up generally offers a customer a discount or an offer or a sign up to a newsletter, and then asks for an email address or a point of contact. Once you've got the customer's email address, it's then easy to remarket to them. You can send them offers and discounts based on what they had in their basket or what they click on most frequently. It's a really effective way of getting more personalised marketing and targeting specific customers. Think about how many times you've left something in a basket and thought, you know, I'll just go back to that, and you never do. So if you're looking to install a module like this, then we recommend a good start would be to look at ATOC's website. Again, the same people that provide full page cache, as they've got a really good abandoned cart module with heavy reporting. So this week we asked Craig, one of our Magento developers, some of the questions that he's asked most commonly, or to give us something that we can share with you to help you. And his top tip is as follows.
So Craig's top tip is, instead of using the server to deliver emails, use an email service like Mandrill. This will ensure that your emails are delivered each time. As a plus, it also includes really in-depth reporting. This can be useful if you want to check out if customers have received their emails. We use Mandrill for all of our customers. We avoid using servers where possible, just for, you know, the deliverability of the emails and making sure they're getting to customers. You can run off reports, so you can see how many emails you're sending, how many have been delivered, how many have bounced, and the click-through rating as well. So it's a really good tool, and if you're not using it, you should definitely look at something like this or SendGrid. There's a number of other services available, but we really like Mandrill, so that's why it's been suggested this week.
And we're kind of run over this week, guys, so we won't be able to do any questions, but what we will do is answer the questions that have been, so I can see there's a few there. We'll answer them on the next webinar, which is in 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, if there's any questions in the meantime, then you can either follow up with myself, Finn, or Jason. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Yeah, we really look forward to you, and as Finn said, if there's any questions, just post them in the questions area now, and then what we will do is we'll make sure we include them in the next webinar. There's also a kind of survey thing after this, so I'd really appreciate if you filled that out, because it'd give us an idea of what content you guys actually want to see going forward in the next couple of webinars. So if you can fill that out, that'd be really appreciated. But yeah, I think that's it. Unless you've got anything else to add, Finn?
No, that's it. Good luck seeing out the rest of January.
Yeah, okay. And if you've got any questions or anything, feel free to give us a shout. Thank you, guys.